Hey, YouTube, TikTok, the whole world. What's up, man? It's Rico Knows. I'm going to talk to you guys about UFC results from this past weekend. You guys know I got to do a results show, usually the night of the fights, but I was out of town hanging out with my daughter in the AAU volleyball tournament. I'll be posting a video on that in a little bit. But shout out to them, made it to the championship bracket. But here we are talking about UFC Mexico City. Just real quick, if you didn't know, we bounced back like a mother flipper. It's been a rough couple weeks, but we went absolute ham. Unfortunately, I thought I went undefeated on this card. I thought I got everything right, because I essentially did. But apparently when I got home, I realized that I put Vince Pichel here. But I didn't tell you guys take Vince, I'm pretty sure, because I have Garcia by points over here on the prop bet. So, and it's a higher confidence than the value bet. So this is where we should have been. Right, the higher confidence. You may remember, green is a lock. If you see it in white text, it was green. Green is a lock, black is a lean, purple's a value bet. And it's just one of those situations where I'm like, yeah, EV's here, but we need to go here. Nonetheless, 27-4. I had 31 plays on this card, 27-4 in my predictions. And it's not just that I get them right. It's the way I get them right. And we're going to talk about that, okay? Because there are times when I talk about two fighters and I'm just so spot on that people don't quite grasp what's happening. I'm literally telling you what's going to happen. I have the script, bro. Now, they're going to get in that cage and things might go wrong. We might get robbed by a judge. We might get robbed by a ref. We might get robbed by a doctor. Or a fighter might shit the bed. But the analysis is not wrong. I truly believe that. We've got enough proof of concept here that we're not wrong. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fights. Win 11-1. Apologize. Don't mean to cook in front of you, but let's go down here and let's call it UFC Mexico City. And who was in the main event? If you remember, Moreno versus Ursig. And that's pretty good. I don't have an if statement in here so it doesn't turn green. That's just on me. Nonetheless, we're bouncing back after a rough 3 weeks. A rough 3 weeks, maybe even a rough 5 weeks for some of you. But let's go talk about the fighters. We don't need to get into the bets too much. Shout out to some of the MVPs. If you aren't aware, we have a Discord server with all the winners. They're right here, and the winners went ham. I want to give a special shout out to some of my boys. Nicky Dub here. Actually, Nicky Dub went ham on some other stuff. If you guys didn't know, he put Florida in the Final Four. Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Ohio State winning the national championship. Parlayed it all together. He turned $5 into 200. So shout out to my boy Nicky Dub, all right? That's one of the MVPs. But look at Lucky Luch, bro. Lucky Luch is up $18,000 for the weekend. Yes, his unit size is bigger than yours. That man is well hung. But going to bat like this on a card is awesome. Watching him hit, turning $1,500 into $10,000 essentially. Really impressive stuff. Shout out to Lucky Luch. And a lot of you MVPs did great. Everybody did great. There's Jay Ramirez doing his thing. He went deep on about 5 different cards. LB even went green, which is nuts. Imagine this. We go undefeated on a card, 27-4 on picks, and LB only made 2 bets. That sounds about right for LB. He never really shows up and does the damn thing. Rebs fan here hit a plus 1,200, bro. He put it all together. Now, I don't like these lottery tickets if I'm being real, but congratulations to you guys. Vizzy, he had a lot of ticket smash, but that was from March Madness. He had a plus 4,000. He turned $25 into $1,000. So I mean, he can be a member all year. Hey, get that annual membership, right? But shout out to you guys. Most MVPs hit on the props that we talked about and the bets we talked about. We don't unit shame over here. Do what you do. MVPs are winning. You can show up, even if you're not a member. You can show up and see the Wins channel. It's for free. You can watch it for free. But the rest of you guys, get on Patreon. Go do the damn thing. That's all I'm saying. Get on, search Rico Knows. Become a member. But let's go break down these fights. YouTube, I broke down a lot of these fights for free, by the way. Many of you didn't watch the videos. I saw the view count. You guys don't watch them. You guys don't know who I am. I don't give a damn. I'm going to keep doing what I do. Okay, Marquel Medeiros versus Austin Hubbard. Well, for the first time all year, we won. The judges robbed us the other way, right? They stole one for us. I didn't think Medeiros won this fight. And I think in the future, when you look at Medeiros, this is a guy that just doesn't know how to get up when you need him to. And he does not have a gas tank for that third round. If you need him to win the third round, he's not built to win a third round. Don't forget that, okay? And I obviously won't forget that when we see him again. I'll go back and watch the results shows and what I had to say about these individuals. But Medeiros is an athletic individual. You want to believe in him. He got really lucky in this fight in the third round. There was like an elbow that caused some blood to leak, and it looked like he was winning with damage and stuff. He was not. Hubbard was dominating this fight. Hubbard outstruck him. Hubbard just did everything, and Hubbard's not good. Hubbard's exactly who I thought he was. He's a hard-working dude. He's going to go out there and try his best, but there's limitations to Hubbard's greatness, right? He has no ceiling. Well, he has a very low ceiling. It's very low. It's caving in on him. Hubbard's a crawl space. That's what kind of ceiling he's got. So it is what it is. What a terrible early fight, but we got it right. Shout out to them. Next fight, I told you this fight was not going to go the distance, and I told you Jamal Emmers was winning by knockout. I put it on the board in that way, right? And I told you it's going to be a TKO knockout. Jamal Emmers is going to do it. He hits too hard. And Gabriel Miranda's not a real fighter. He's just a jiu-jitsu nerd who has one skill set, and that's all he's going to try to do. And if he can't get it, he's out of breath and can't finish any of his moves, and you don't have to worry about it. Well, he got knocked out in the first round. Yes, I put it on the board. I also threw in another prop, one of the props I missed, which was Miranda by sub. I only put it there because it was a plus 950. I said it was worth the gamble, but it's not something you should have been betting on when I give you a minus 550, Jamal Emmers at a plus 120, I believe, for his knockout. Something to that effect. So you probably should have flipped a unit, made a large pizza. Shout out to the MVPs. I know everybody's green, so I shouldn't even lecture you guys on this. I know everybody's green. What we saw from Jamal Emmers, though, is he still doesn't have – he's not a complete fighter. He's just a good striker, a mean striker. He hits hard, and Vegas is going to make you pay for this guy all the time. Look at those odds. They're going to make you pay handsomely for this guy. So you got to kind of fade him or avoid him, really, the next time you see him on the books, because Vegas is just going to put these stupid numbers where they're minus 500, 600. Now, it had something to do with his opponent, right? Miranda's not a real opponent. That's not a real fighter. So pretty easy call here. Next fight. Apparently, I picked Vince Pichel, but that's not really, right? I told you guys Garcia by points. Rafa is exactly what I told you was. He's boring. I've never seen Rafa be a minus 360 favorite against anyone in the world, so those odds are stupid. But he's still going to win the fight, right? Shout out to Mexico, shout out to Mexicali, shout out to Rafa, but he just doesn't really have any skill. He's going to go out there, he's going to mimic a fighter, kind of punch and do his thing, but he's just a very, very limited prospect. Not even a prospect, because he's like 33 years old now, right? He's in his early 30s. And he's just not – I don't think he's very good. So those odds were insane. And you got to know that. Like, he's just not very good at what he does. There's nothing exceptional about him. And I see fighters like this all the time. I'm trying to think of the other one. There's another one. Was it Darren Till? Kobe Covington? Like, where they're just not very good at anything. They got a name. People know who they are. But they're not very good at anything. That's how I feel about Rafa Garcia. Even after that fight. You got a 42-year-old outworking you. Rafa lost the third round. He got outworked by a dude, and I say he lost the third round. 2 cards were 30-27, which is fucking crazy. 2 cards were 30-27. That's just that was laughable. It shouldn't have been that way. He got outstruck by a 42-year-old man, and that's nuts. He just doesn't have the cardio to work any harder. He just doesn't. So it is what it is. But he was able to rely on some of his takedowns, be in a dominant body position, not lose it. But he doesn't throw. He throws very hard. But he didn't throw enough combos, enough volume for me to get excited. I'm serious. He's just not there. Next fight, I told you take Lupi Godinez by points. We got that done, 29-28. Julia is exactly who I told you she is. She's coached by her husband. She acts like a gangster. She acts tough, like she'll walk through punches and all this stuff. But the reality is you fight terribly. You fight with your hands down by your side. You don't protect your face. So you're always going to get hit. And the crowd's always going to go ooh and ah because your face is there to catch all the strikes. So terrible head movement that can't really do much. Lupi body slammed this girl. Lupi said she had to take a shit before the third round and still got through it and still won in a dominant fashion. I was very impressed with Lupi Godinez in this fight, but I need people to understand she's not that great. The odds are always going to be like this. You're going to be in that minus 200-300 range with Lupi because of her wrestling. She's not that great, man. She beat the hell out of a girl that hasn't won anything worth talking about. Lupi should be a higher echelon fighter. Like if she fought Miranda Maverick right now, if she fought, who's she going to fight next? Where are we going? And I know I'm just yelling out names and they're different sizes and stuff, but where's Lupi going? And who is she going to be favored against and who is she fighting? I understand she had 7 minutes of control time in this and she looked great wrestling. She sucks. She does. And remember I told you, she sucks, but she's a lock. I told you guys that. Trust me. I'm never going to fall for that girl texting me at 2 in the morning. You guys remember the story? Hopefully you watched the video and you remember the story. I was talking to you. You got to learn from your mistakes. And then I made her a lock, and I threw you guys for a loop. I saw an MVP write about it on Patreon. He was like, man, Rico, you really threw us for a loop there. So shout out to him. Christian Rodriguez, C-Rod against Costa. I just told you that, to me, Christian Rodriguez has no clear skill set of any sort. He's just tough. And if you're going to be tough, that's fine. But if you're banking on your opponents to gas out, and that's how you're going to win the fight, that's news to me. Yes, Christian Rodriguez won the 3rd round. He still has a ton of cardio, a ton of heart. He came through even when he looked like he didn't want to be in there. He wanted to be in there more than Costa in the 3rd round. But Milky is a skilled fighter. Milky's very good. Milky throws them things. And as a matter of fact, I want you guys to do this, okay? I study matchups, if you will. I study matchups. And you know what I've been learning? If you're in the same weight class as another guy and you're on the same card, you're probably going to fight each other. Milky against Rosas Jr., I'm taking Milky. And I think they're on a path to meet up. Yep, Milky Costa against Rosas Jr. Now, they're kind of, they're protecting Rosas because he's not a real fighter. He's just a grappler. He's just going to go out there and nut hug. But in this particular fight, Milky was able to strike enough to show us those flashes of greatness striking. And, man, is he crafty on the mat. He can win scrambles. He's really good at jiu-jitsu, and he can get out of there. It's very impressive. But Christian Rodriguez is still a dog. And it's going to be one of those situations where he's going to be a fan favorite because he is a dog, but he has no real skill set. And what I mean by that is he going to win by knockout or submission? What's his path to victory? If your path to victory is the judges, if you're a decision merchant, you're playing with fire. Because them judges, they call fights all different ways. We've seen a fight where we for sure won this fight 30-27, and we've lost on the cards. So if that's your path to victory, the judges, wrestling and body control and clinch time and ride time, and if that's your path to victory, then we don't need to be betting on you. And that's how I feel about Christian Rodriguez. I don't see him going out there to knock anyone out or submit anyone. It's never like, oh, that's good night. Oh, it's a wrap. It's never like that with Christian Rodriguez. It's actually he's got to get beat up a lot so his opponent gets tired. And then we're like, all right, he doesn't have enough to finish him. Now what can C-Rod do? And if that's the case, it's like a track meet and you're letting the guy get a head start on you and you're trying to run him down on the home stretch. You're trying to walk him down because you got a better kick than him. But he already has a lead on you. Why do you let these guys get a lead on you? That's Christian Rodriguez. If you got all that gas tank, go a little harder in the 1st and 2nd round. You'll start winning fights. Easy for me to say. Ateb Gautier versus Jose Daniel Medina. I saw an MVP write and say, we got to remember not to take Ateb Gautier. I don't agree. I think he's a phenomenal striker. I think of all the phenomenal strikers, he's very patient. Obviously, uber athletic. Can't get a takedown on this guy. He looks great. Now, he was fighting a cab driver. I called this a mile away. I told you Jose Daniel Medina does not. They didn't even want him to be in that fight. They wanted it to end early. It was an early stoppage because they don't want to sit there and watch a guy break his orbital bone or his jaw because that guy's just going to get up again. He's a zombie. But he can't fight at all. I'm serious. Jose Daniel Medina can't do anything in that cage. I've watched him in the cage now, 4 times? 3 times. 3 times, right? He's fought. No, that was his 4th fight. He had 3 others, right? Contender series, lost twice to 2 scrubs, and now he gets knocked out. Yeah, that's the 4th time I've seen him. I've never seen him win a round. He's never won a round. He's never won an engagement, like an exchange. That dude's terrible. Probably one of the worst fighters in the history of UFC. Him and Greg Hardy and CM Punk. Jose Daniel Medina, if he gets another fight and he doesn't get cut, you got to sell your car and put everything on the other guy. You have to. This dude can't win. And don't care what the announcers talk about. Oh, he's so good. There's Laura Senkos and the Daniel Cormiers and Michael Bisping. These guys don't know anything. They're former fighters. They don't assess it. They just sit there and just start talking. and they tell me how tough this guy is. He's the worst fighter I ever seen in the UFC. And Gautier takes his time, tons of explosion. I think there's a lot more left in this guy's tank. Cameroon, I think he's on his way to the top. I'm telling you, I assess talent for a living. That dude's the real deal. And Vegas is going to make you pay for it every time you see him. All you got to do is just bet on that knockout. But remember, he's patient, so we might go to second round knockouts or any round knockout type deal. All right. Next fight. Kevin Borjas versus Ronaldo Rodriguez. Only 2 underdogs won on this entire card. I predicted both of the underdogs to win. This is one of them. You know, shout out to me. I'm going to pat myself on the back for this one because I need you guys to understand something. Kevin Borjas never won a fight in the UFC. Kevin Borjas never won a fight in the UFC. And if you looked online and you looked at the free cappers, the guys who give out free picks online and all this stuff, I watch their videos. I do. Because I think they're going to teach me something about, like, the locker room, or maybe they saw something I didn't see. I don't know. I'm not above it. I'll watch your video. I don't like your picks. I don't like your assessment of things, but I'll watch it. And I'd say I watched like 6 or 7 other dudes online, and they all said the same thing. Kevin Borjas does not belong in the UFC. He's not a UFC caliber fighter. But then I went and watched his fights. And I said, yeah, he's losing. And yes, he got knocked out. But I actually think he punches straight. I think his strikes are straight. I think they're crisp and they're straight. And Ronaldo Rodriguez leaves a lot to be desired on his feet. Those are looping punches, and he gets hit a lot. A lot. They call him Lazy Boy. He's got 2 million followers on Instagram. His last fight, he came out and won on the cards in a weird way, 29-27, and I know he lost the first round 10-8. It was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. I don't know what. The judges did something backwards and wrong. But I said, no, this Ronaldo Rodriguez guy, he's not very good. Fan favorite, huge favorite, minus 220. I just don't get it. Guys, this is not it. It's going to be Borjas. And Borjas went out there and masterclassed this kid. Who gave Rodriguez any rounds? Borjas masterclassed him. It was stick and move. Borjas never stayed in the pocket too long. Made some connections. He circles out perfectly, moves the right way, avoids damage the right way. He did everything right, guys. And there was such a huge gap in striking. I think if those guys fought 10 times, Ronaldo Rodriguez wouldn't win once. He would have to change his strategy because he can't punch with this man. He can't touch this man. Ronaldo Rodriguez, there's a huge skill gap there. And you got to remember that in the future. They're going to make you pay for Ronaldo Rodriguez. They're going to make you think he's a grappler. He's got takedowns. He's got this, that, or the other. Man, 1 for 5 with takedowns on a guy in Borjas who didn't do nothing. Borjas didn't try no takedowns. Borjas just going to go out there and just strike. And so, yes, listen. Do I think Borjas is a world beater? Not at all. He's a one-dimensional fighter that can only strike, that can only kickbox. I get it. But if you can't take him down, you're not beating him. You got to take down Borjas because he's a very good striker. And if you're Ronaldo Rodriguez is terrible on his feet, guys. He's a liability on his feet. You cannot forget this because Vegas is going to make you pay for that guy. And they always make you pay for fighters they think can get a takedown and maintain dominant body position for the entire round. That's cool and everything until it doesn't happen. And Ronaldo Rodriguez is not special like that. So, good call on my part, picking a fighter who's never won in the UFC before, and I still just thought he was a better fighter, and I knew I was right. And by that point, we're cooking for the night. We're cooking with Crisco. David Martinez versus Simon Oliveira. First thing I told you guys is Simon Oliveira is not a real fighter, and the minute you see one spinning back fist, the fight's over. And he did one spinning back fist, and he was knocked out about 30 seconds later. Okay? Simon Oliveira is a one-dimensional fighter. All he can do is jiu-jitsu. He can't strike. He might put his hands up and look like he can strike. He can't. And David Martinez is about that life, right? David Martinez is going to throw hard and bang. But listen to me. I see a very big flaw in David Martinez's game. Huge flaw. He throws no combos. The only combo he threw in the entire fight was at that final sequence when he thought he was getting the knockout. So he went for blood, right? He went for broke. If you don't set up your strikes with multiple strikes, 1, 2, 3, 2-3-2. I'm calling out combos for my strikers out there. This is why we hit pads and you throw more than one strike when you're hitting pads. Apparently, David Martinez throws one right cross, one jab, one kick, over and over and over, just one hard strike. And when you go up in competition and you fight real fighters, not these fish, not these bums, when you start fighting real fighters, you're going to miss on that one strike and you're going to get caught with a counter. Or you're just going to keep missing over and over because you're not going to hit a guy with your first strike. Not these high-level fighters. Remember, they always say, be first and be third. Be first and be third because you got to go in there and you got to have the courage and the willingness to close with the enemy. And you got to get within striking range. And you got to be in that pocket, and it's going to be a tough fight for David Martinez. I see a very limited striker. He's vicious. He looks good. He's a Mexican fighter from Mexico City. He's tough. His sister's in the UFC. But I'm telling you, there is a reason this guy is not quite elite caliber. He's not. He's not a Peyton Talbot, and Talbot's wearing a bare midriff shirt right now. So just be aware of that, okay? I like David Martinez. He's probably going to win a couple more fights because they're going to give him some cans. They're going to give him some setups and let him keep climbing up the charts. But when we see a dynamic striker or somebody who's defensively responsible that he's fighting, if he's going to fight a defensively responsible fighter, you just got to know he's going to be in a lot of trouble. I really believe that. If we can drag these fights out to the second and third round, he's going to lose his knockout power. And then we're just going to see a guy throwing one punch and then stopping. And the reason I bring this up is I've seen it in all the years of UFC that I've been watching. I've been watching UFC since the 90s. And I have seen fighters like this come and go. If you don't build and learn how to throw combos, you will not make it. You just be this one punch jump, and it's going to be terrible. So I hope David Martinez gets it under control and becomes a dynamic striker because he's not quite there. There's that kid from MMA Labs. What's his name? Rios. I think his name is Rios. He's great. And he's very similar to David Martinez, a young prospect, Hispanic kid. Is it Rios? He's just so dynamic. And I think it's David. Give me a second here. We had him on a card earlier this year. That's the kid. You don't want to confuse the two. Let's see if we go back. That was the first card of the year. Well, I know he's going to be green because we definitely got him right. Was he on the main card? Where was my guy? Jose Delgado. Jose Delgado. There's a huge difference from Jose Delgado, okay, to Dave Martinez. Huge difference. You might think they're both young studs, kicking ass and taking names. It's like a astronomical mile. I was going to say a nautical mile. It's a huge gap from David Martinez to Jose Delgado, okay? Just so we're clear on that. Love Dave Martinez. Great performance. Next fight, Raul Rosas Jr. against Vince Morales. Vince Morales, big scare. He's tough. He had a ridiculous Darce / ankle / shin choke that he was doing. This ninja choke, Rico, just shut up, man. It's fine, but I told you Vince Morales is not that dog and he's not going to get it done. Now, Raul Rosas Jr. did not look like a minus 500 favorite in there. He was grueling, grappling, on his back, 9 minutes. The things Raul Rosas has no clue how to do is strike when in a dominant body position. He's drilled so much in wrestling and grappling without strikes. Like when you go to the gym, let me tell you guys this. When you go to the gym, there are different phases of training, if you will. So I might be teaching a class on just rolling for dominant body position. You just roll and try to transition to a better position. Try to pass guard. Try to move to side control. Go from side control. Try to transition to mount. I might tell you guys we're rolling for just body position, and then I'll say, all right, break, pair up. Now we're rolling for submission. And now you can go and do your Kimuras, your triangles, your arm bars, your whatever, right? Rolling for submission. Sometimes I'll put you in a bad position and see if you can get out of it. When we go striking, sometimes you might be sparring. And we might say only jab sparring. All you can do is throw a jab. All right. Only body sparring, 1 to the head. So 3 to the body, 1 to the head. No combos to the head. No 1, 2, 3, 4. Just give me all body work and then 1 to the head. Body work, 1 to the head. And you do all these different types of drills. You segue and you kind of, it's a graduated skill thing, right? So you start really simple and you kind of build up to it. By the end of practice, we're doing full rounds of sparring. We're doing full drills. And that's kind of how we end on a high note, like where we put everything together. I feel like Raul Rosas Jr. was going to the gym and they were just rolling with no strikes. Like I might tell you, hey, we're going to do strikes, but we're going to go closed fist to the body, open hand to the face. Closed fist to the body, open hand to the face. What if I told you that for 2 years of your life and that's all you ever did? Then you get in the cage and you start slapping a dude in front of you, Stockton slapping the dude while you're on the ground. You're pummeling, you're doing all, you're rolling, you're grappling, and then out of nowhere you slap him in the face. Why? Because it's muscle memory. It's all you've ever done. Raul Rosas Jr. looks like he grapples and trains without striking. Like they don't work on striking while grappling. Yes, he works on striking. But only when he's standing. When he's standing, he's doing his boxing thing. Then when he gets a takedown, he's doing his wrestling thing. He has not mixed his martial arts. That's what MMA stands for, right? MMA, mixed martial arts. You're supposed to mix all your martial arts. You're supposed to have the throws of judo, the takedowns of wrestling, the knees and elbows of Muay Thai, the punches of boxing. Like you're supposed to have everything. The submissions of jiu-jitsu. He doesn't have everything. So Raul Rosas will find himself in a position where he could easily be elbowing somebody in the face. And he's worried about shoulder pressure and maintaining an over and under and doing a 3/4 Nelson. Like he's just not real. He's not a real fighter. He's not. And he's winning his fights. He's 20 years old. And he's got a ton of fans and he's saying chee-wee-wees and everybody's doing this shit. He is a very one-dimensional fighter. So that's how you see 9 minutes of control time and no damage. To be in a 15-minute fight and you only land 26 significant strikes, that is utterly terrible. When you were in a dominant body position for 10 minutes and you only threw 26 strikes the whole fight. You only attempted 46 the whole fight. That should be 1 round. So Raul Rosas is getting real close to being a fade. Real soon, especially with these odds. I need you guys to be aware of it. And you MVPs who doubt me, what do you pay me for? I'm letting you know. We're going to get real close to fading this guy because he's not about that life. Just so you're aware. Shout out to Vince Morales. He's old. He's on his way out the door. And Raul Rosas obviously will be here a while. I told you, I don't think he's going to hit his peak for another 7 or 8 years. But until I see him inflict damage when in a dominant body position, that's not a real fighter. Glorified wrestler. This is a real fighter right here. Edgar Chairez is a real fighter. Fighting CJ Vergara. I got it wrong. I thought CJ Vergara was going to be a little tougher and stay in the fight, but obviously I told you Edgar Chairez is winning this fight, and I called it a lock. And a lot of people on the internet were like, this is a 50-50 fight. This is a 50-50 fight. No, it's not. It's a feel-good story in CJ Vergara versus a grown man in Edgar Chairez. And Edgar Chairez has really long extremities. He's out there to bang. He's going to slice you up and dice you up, but he's got the package. Like, pause. No diddy. He's got the package. He's got the total package of a fighter. He knows how to inflict pain. He wants you to get out of that cage and hurting. And he wants to inflict that pain on you. I like his mindset. Now, sometimes he struggles with imposing that mindset. But in this particular case, I saw a grown man fighting a little boy. Little boy. CJ Vergara, your days of looking kind of tough and being there and trying really hard, you remind me of a third-string running back on a youth football team. Your parents are proud of you. You'll get in the games when it's a blowout. But you need to understand there's no future for you as we continue to progress in this world of sports. And CJ Vergara is that guy. There's no future for him in MMA. He's not about it, bro. The way he tapped out from a face crank and then he just put up no fight. Didn't fight the top arm. Didn't try to get rid of a hook. Turn into his opponent. He looked like a fish out of water. That was terrible. A fish out of water puts up more of a fight than him. My bad. They flip and flop around a little bit. They're hard to grasp. This guy, he looked terrible. And don't tell me Charles is that great. Now, I had Charles as a lock. I laughed all the way to the bank on that. And I told you guys, man, I'm going to pick some locks out here, and I'm going to sound crazy, but I'm with it. Manuel Torres, Drew Dober. 50-50 fight. We knew it wasn't going the distance, and I saw some guys online picking Drew Dober. You were out of your flipping mind. You're out of your mind. Drew Dober was holding on to an ankle and not sure he was still fighting. This was embarrassing by Drew Dober. I think Drew Dober's done a tremendous job in his life, entertaining us, being a guy willing to go to war and bang it out. Drew Dober needs to get into coaching. He needs to stop fighting. CTE, your health matters to you. You need to stop fighting. Manuel Torres is just getting started. Manuel Torres is a bad man. He hits hard. He's precise. He's got everything going for him, and I knew it the minute I saw this matchup. I knew who I was going with, and I understand what people need to understand about this fight. Watching the way Manuel Torres demolished Drew Dober, you guys need to understand how good Ignacio Bahamondes is. Ignacio Bahamondes took Manuel Torres' soul, bruh. Took his lunch money, beat him up for 3 rounds. You gotta listen to me. Ignacio Bahamondes, was it 3 rounds? I don't know how long it was, but Ignacio Bahamondes is world class. You've been told. You've been warned. But shout out to Manuel Torres. Easy call for me. I fully believed in him. I knew he was going to go do the damn thing, and we got it right. And to a fight people thought was 50-50, I thought that was a fight worth putting units on. Shout out to Manuel Torres. Got it done. Main event. Steve Erceg, Brandon Moreno. I told you guys, Brandon Moreno has spent the last 5 years fighting the best fighters on the planet Earth. The planet Earth for 5 rounds. Brandon Moreno has been doing the damn thing. And no matter how much the announcers at the UFC try to gas you on the other guy, like they're trying to gas you on the opponent, like all the time. They're always trying to gas you on the losing fighter. And I'm like, what are they talking about? I know what I'm watching. And I was on TikTok Live. And I called it. I said, hey, guys, this is going to be a 49-46. On the judges' scorecard, 49-46. I don't care what these guys are talking about. 49-46. What do we see? Steve Erceg. Steve Erceg is the guy who can tell you the maximum effective range of his M16A2 rifle. It is a gas-powered, magazine-fed, blah, 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 bolt action. Blah, blah, blah. I used to have soldiers that can do all this, right? I'm telling you a true story. You could sit there and recite every spec of your weapon and tell me everything about it. The function steps, locking, loading, cocking, all this shit. You can do all the board stuff you want. But when we go to the range and we got to shoot, you're not ready to shoot. You are fundamentally sound. You look like a student of the game. His dad coached him. He comes across as like a rich kid who started fighting, started working out, and then he became a fighter. That's how Steve Erceg comes off. He's fundamentally sound. Oh, look at his perfect feet and his movement. Bro, when is he going to fight back? When is he going to win you minutes in a fight? He didn't win any minutes in this fight. He's not ready to throw. And he landed more strikes than Brandon. Brandon Moreno came out. I told you it was a lock. I don't care. I told you Brandon Moreno's winning this fight. By points was a value bet, plus 125. Moreno by points, plus 125. Every MVP on the world should have been on that. That's great payout. That's great odds. I'll take it all day. What did Moreno do? Slick boxing. Move. Throw with power. Have more impact. Have more moments. And if you ever have your back against the fence and you're Steve Erceg, he's not about that life. Steve Erceg's fancy. He's cool. But he ain't a dog, dude. You guys ever seen an outdoor dog versus an indoor dog? Outdoor dogs don't give a shit what the weather is, bro. They're still going to bark. They're still going to bite. An indoor dog, leave them outside. They're just going to stand by the door and whimper. Stand by the door and whimper and ask you to let them in. They're going to whimper at the door and try to come. They look like a dog, sound like a dog, walk like a dog, but their instincts tell them we need to go inside. Outdoor dog is out there. He's like, yo, I'm making the best of this situation. Why aren't you in the shade of this tree with me, bro? Hey, come hang out with me for the rest of the day. We're going to dig some holes later. We're going to knock over some trash cans and dig some holes later. That's an outdoor dog. Indoor dog talking about, I can't wait to get inside and get a treat. Steve Erceg is an indoor dog. He's still a dog. He can still fight. He can still do his thing. They can't. I don't understand this matchup. Steve Erceg failed his way into a main event. He did nothing that deserved. He didn't deserve this fight. He didn't belong up here with the elite. The last time I saw Steve Erceg, he was getting knocked out by Kara France, right? Kai Kara France. Like, what are we doing? You're getting knocked out last time I see you, and then you get a fight against Brandon Moreno in a main event? No. Why? Well, he fought the champ, Rico, and he fought him really well, and he fought till the end. Okay, dude. Okay. That'll be his claim to fame. He almost got lucky, bro. He almost got lucky. Sounded like P. Diddy when he was with J-Lo. You almost got there, bro. You almost got the prize. You're not a champ, dude. Steve Erceg is not about that life. Steve Erceg has spent the last 5 years dominating on the regional scene, beating some really good fighters. He has not been beating world-class fighters. And that's because he's not one. Slick, defensively responsible, moves around a little bit. But when did he push the gas in this fight? When did he take the fight to the other man? Like, Steve Erceg doesn't respect your coin if you're betting on him. When did he go out there and go, he listened to his dad in his corner? Dad said, hey, we need you to go get a knockout to win this fight. We need you to really turn it on. Go for it. Did you ever see that? Did you ever see him go in there, even for a minute? You ever seen a guy come out the corner, listen to his coaches for 1 minute, and go ham for that first minute in the third, fifth round? In the final round of a fight, I've seen guys get off the stool, and they're losing, and they go out there and they try. And then after about a minute, then they're exhausted. And then they get taken down and they lose the fight. But I see the effort. Steve Erceg knew he was losing this fight. What did he do? Go back and watch it. You can watch it right here on ESPN Plus. Go watch it. Dude he was doing backpedal drills like he was at the combine. He's just moving out of the way of everything. He was playing the, what is it, Matador? He was doing a Matador thing. He's moving out of the way, That's cool, bro. At some point, we got to score some points. Steve Erceg is, and I'm mentioning this because we got to remember this, because everybody's in love with Starboy when you saw him beating up on some bums on the regional scene. You saw him beating up on some bums in his debut. Who did he beat to earn these fights? Who did he beat, bro? Who did he beat to get into these fights? Steve Erceg. Matt Schnell. He beat Costa's fine. Matt Schnell. He knocked out Matt Schnell, and that's what got him into these championship caliber fights. Are you out of your flipping mind, bro? You knocked out Matt Schnell? A guy who has been knocked out 5 times? A guy who's lost 4 of his last 5? This is why you're in championship fights. Because you beat Matt Schnell. Steve Erceg is a fraud. Fucking Michael Scott is a fraud. They don't even let him get a full picture in here, bro. They don't even let him get a full. Look at these guys all got full pictures. Look what they do to Steve Erceg. He's half a fighter. Respect your coin. Never bet on that guy. Once again, shout out to the MVPs. Just a reminder, on the full card, we went 27-4. 27-4. That includes every prop, every value bet, every idea I had in my head. Anything I said, I hit on. I got it right. 27-4. You should be fucking filthy rich. Insane. Our locks got back up to 66%. We want them at 83. We'll get there. That's where we were last year. It's the law of averages. We're going to go on a run. Lean 64%. We'll take it. It's pretty good. Usually we're 66. This is what I'm most impressed with right here. Parlay prop locks. That's parlay locks. These were all green. There's one right there, TKO. There's one by points. Go the distance, not go the distance, over rounds, and Costa 3.5. All of them hit. We missed nothing in this column. Nothing. We missed a value bet, value bet, value bet, value bet. That's all we missed on the whole thing. That's this column right here, the 37%. We went 50-50 on those, by the way, because we hit this value bet for 125. We hit this by TKO. We hit this by points. So we went 3, and we missed 3 props. Got 3 right, missed 3 props. Value bet fighters, we got 2 underdogs right, and we missed one, but did I really pick Michelle? No. So it's just You got to be transparent with your results. You got to talk to your people and have them understand what you're doing here. Props overall this year, we're at 50%. You do understand that props pay out way more, right? Props are plus 100 all day long or higher. So we're doing really good here if you've been betting the props all year. You just got to stick with the law of averages and let it take care of itself. Some MVPs are better than others. Thank you guys for believing in me. Shout out to the guys on Patreon. Shout out to everybody on the Discord server. I'm Rico Knows. Get your money, bruh. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.